Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of the Literally Me podcast. I don't know what podcast episode number this is,
13?
but I think 14.
14?
I'm not sure. But we're back once again after a little break. My name is Dino, and I'm joined by my boy Tristan.
Yes, sir.
Tristan, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Good to be back on the pod and yeah, good cool to talk about this movie today that you recommended last week.
Hell yeah. Today we're going to talk about Black Dynamite from 2009, directed by Scott Sanders, starring Michael J. White.
Hmm.
Very fun film, and I was surprised you haven't seen it yet.
I know, me too. We were just saying off the pod, it was so far up my alley. I'm shocked I never
Mm.
got around to it.
Hell yeah. We're gonna talk about it, but before we do that, we have a couple news that
Bring it to
dropped.
me. Let me hear it.
Yeah, because it's been a while since we recorded last time. So there are a couple things that go a while back, but it's still worth mentioning. So one thing is we have our new Superman. Have you seen this casting? No.
I saw some people posting about it, but I didn't really look into it any further. But I
Mhm.
saw I saw the hubbub online of people talking about a new Superman.
Hell yeah. What's this guy's name? I have to look
What
it up
what's
because
are they just tired of Henry? What's his head? Cable?
Henry Cavill.
Cavill? Yeah. Are they just
I
tired
don't
of him,
know.
or they're just moving on, or was there beef, or
They're just moving on. I'm not sure why, but I think they're just rebooting this whole thing, which is a shame. I mean, Henry Cavill was a great Superman. I would have loved to even have him in a different universe. Just give him one more movie.
well, if Hollywood continues the way it is, I assure you we will see him again in a Superman suit, probably in 20 years, but he'll be back in one.
Yep. I mean, we saw that, but there's definitely like a nostalgia thing going
Yeah.
on right now, so it might continue. But yeah, his name is David Corenswet. Are you
Okay.
familiar with him?
What's the last name? Corins Wentz?
Corenswet.
Never heard that name ever.
He was in Pearl, if you've seen that
Oh, he was in
film.
Pearl?
He was. I haven't seen it yet, but he was. I saw him in that Hollywood miniseries on Netflix, and he was great in that. So that's how I'm familiar with him.
Okay. Trying to see
Yeah.
if I can pull him. Oh, yeah, I do remember this guy in Pearl.
Mm. He looks very similar to Henry Cavill.
A little bit.
Yeah,
And
he could
he's
be his
gonna
brother.
I know he's gonna be coming up in a they're doing a sequel to Twister. Sorry, I don't mean to go off on a new thing, but he's gonna be in a sequel to Twister that they're doing that comes out next year.
Dude, yeah. I
That's
just
crazy.
saw. Interesting. The cast, Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell.
Look at that
Interesting.
budget. My God, $200 million
For Twisters,
for Twisters. That's
but
crazy.
it's Lee Isaac Chung directing. He did Minari, which
Oh,
that
he
would be
did do
interesting.
Minari?
I have faith in him, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a really interesting next step.
It could, I mean, honestly, seeing that director, I'm kind of down.
No, that gives it like a whole new kind of level of credibility, I think.
Mhm.
But that's insane. $200 million is insane.
Yep. For Twister's film,
Absolutely
but
crazy.
let's see how that turns out.
That's wild.
Mhm.
Anyway, how is the community liking the new Superman guy? Are people fucking with him or not
I think
really?
it's split. A lot of people are missing Henry Cavill and are mad that he's gone, which I
Yeah.
understand. But a lot of people are excited, which I also understand. I'm excited. Like he seems like a good actor. Like I said, and I watched that Hollywood show, and he was great in that. So
Cool.
I have faith in him, and I have faith in James Gunn. I'm
Oh yeah.
excited.
Oh
And
yeah.
Crypto's
Cool.
going to be in it. Like his dog
Oh
can also
really?
fly. Yeah, he's going to be in it, which I'm excited for.
That's fun. That's
Mhm.
fun.
William. And that's just a really small thing, but I'm going to mention it because you talked about this film a couple of weeks ago. They're making Good Burger too.
Are they really?
They're making a sequel to it. Yeah, it was
Hey,
announced a couple of days ago.
you said the golden word just like 2 minutes ago, nostalgia. I mean,
Mhm.
that's fucking cool. Um, it's on
Still haven't
Paramount
seen the
Plus.
first one.
Oh, really? You got to see it.
Mhm.
It's like an iconic kind of, at least from back then. I don't know if it'll hold up now. I'm sure it would for people who saw it then.
Mhm.
Um, but for a first time watch, it might just be like, this is so stupid.
It
But
looks fun though.
yeah, the movie is freaking awesome, and that's cool that they're making another. I don't know. I feel less stoked about it than I thought I would be now that I'm thinking about it more. But that is cool they're making it. I hope they don't, ruin it.
Yeah, understandable. But I mean, it could be fun. I don't know who's directing. I didn't look too much into it. I just saw a headline and I was like, oh, I'm gonna tell Tristan.
Yeah, we got some fella named Phil Trail
Mhm.
directing it. He directed the uh critically acclaimed award-winning film All About Steve with Sandra Bullock and well, what's his name? Steve is that Steve Zahn or was that Bradley Cooper? Bradley Cooper.
I'm not familiar with this film.
Oh, okay. Then I was joking. It's not award-winning, but it was like a comedy like
Mhm.
from maybe like 2008, 9, 7 around there.
What's it called?
All About Steve.
Title sounds familiar.
He's like a news guy, like a kind of like a not like Nightcrawler, but
Oh,
more
yeah, yeah.
cleaner.
Yep. I've
And
never
she's just
watched it.
like obsessed with him
Mhm.
and follows him around and stalks him and stuff. But yeah,
The letterbox ratings are something else.
what's the number we got on there? 2.6, 2.7.
2.0.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So
speaks for
anyway,
itself. Mhm.
you're not to say that that's that he's not down to make a better movie, but that's the
Mhm.
guy we got working with this. But that's cool, man. Shout out to
Mhm.
Good Burger and shout out to Keenan and Kel.
Hell
Did you
yeah.
ever watch Keenan and Kel, the show?
I've seen like clips here and there. Same for Good Burger, but I've never watched or like
Okay.
properly watched it.
Definitely worth a watch. Like they were that was super funny. Like Nickelodeon at that time was so funny. And
Mhm.
they had like all that, which was essentially like SNL, but for like kids kind of.
Mhm.
Nickelodeon was going off, but Keenan and Kel was a great one from that period.
Hell yeah. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's a good watch for sure.
Mhm.
Especially before Good Burger 2 comes up. Watch some Keenan and Kel, watch Good
Yep.
Burger 1 and get
Binging
yourself right.
marathon.
Hell yeah.
And then there's one more news thing I want to talk about, and I'm sure you've heard about this one. The Coen brothers are reuniting for a new script.
No, I didn't hear that actually.
Didn't? I'm not
No.
sure if they're gonna direct this like together.
Yeah.
The headline just said they're gonna be reuniting for the script. It's rumored to be another neo-noir film,
Hell yeah.
which they do best. Not sure if they're gonna like direct it together, but that's great news. I mean, they haven't made
Yeah.
a film together in like 6 years.
Did they do the Ballad of Buster Scruggs
Yeah,
together?
I think that was the last one before they
That's like
split
5
up.
years ago, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, so there's no inform I just looked it up as well.
Mhm.
Doesn't look like there's any information in regards to, like you said, if they um would direct it, but I'm super excited, man. That's super cool.
Mhm. Yep, me too. They did some of the best neo-noir films, and I'm excited to see what they make now. Now that one of them had a little break.
Yep.
And
Come back, refreshed,
yep,
rejuvenated. Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah. Do you have any more news you want to talk about?
Not really. The only thing that I really noticed was like the official trailer that dropped the other day for Killers of the Flower Moon. I know you said that you were gonna try to not watch.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Did you say that when they dropped like the little teaser, you're gonna like avoid watching it? Did
Yep.
you tell me that? Okay. But that just came out,
Hmm.
and I did watch it like 2 days ago, and it looks pretty sweet. I cannot lie. I'm pretty excited for this movie to come out. Um, yeah, and I won't say anything more for
Hmm.
you know to keep the mystery alive for you, but there's some cool things that are in there that I haven't seen like some of these actors do before necessarily. So I'm super excited.
Me too. I'm very excited. And I saw a couple of screenshots because people, this is the first time that people sent me shots to post from from a trailer.
Really?
Yeah, because sometimes people send me like shots like, hey, could you post this shot?
Yeah.
I always try to like I put them in my folder, and when I get to them, when
Yeah.
I find like a
Others
great
to
way to
match.
use them,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, people sent me a couple of shots from that trailer, and I saw them, and it looks very cool.
It
But
looks
that's
awesome.
all
It
I'm
looks
gonna.
awesome.
If there's a trailer in the cinema, I'm gonna watch it. Obviously, I'm not gonna close my eyes and walk out. But
Mhm.
then I see it on the big screen, which is cool. But the film drops on Apple TV Plus,
That's
so I don't think.
that's right. I mean, I don't know if that'll maybe just be like a US thing, but there will for sure be a theater release as well. There's
Yeah,
no way
limited
Scorsese
time.
doesn't exactly. There's no way he doesn't get
Mhm.
that in a theater. Um,
Usually, we only get those in big cities over here. So
okay,
there's like Berlin and then Munich and then maybe another city. But usually where I live, we don't get those,
I see.
unfortunately.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks cool. And you do get a glimpse in the trailer of Brendan Fraser for the first time in that
Hell
film. So
yeah.
that was cool. Yeah, it's a very, very brief moment, but that was cool to see him in a Scorsese flick.
They're saving that one.
Yeah, they know.
Yep.
They know the
Yep.
Brendan Renaissance is in full steam right now.
Absolutely. Well deserved.
And honestly, because I still have the Wikipedia up here of Twisters, so I just
Hmm.
keep looking at it sort of like to the right of like our video thing.
Yep.
And now I think tonight I kind of want to watch Twister again.
I've never seen the first one.
Oh, it's cool. I haven't seen it in like ages, but I remember it was super cool. And then Universal Studios here in Florida, and I think they had it in the one in California as well, but for sure in the one in Orlando, they had like a Twister ride where you
Mhm.
essentially like walk through, like it's like a walking, so it's not like a ride, but then you get into a room and you watch this Twister like it's like you're in a house watching it through a window, and all of a sudden like you see a cow flying by, the room is like spinning or
Mhm.
shaking, like the
I've
floor
seen videos
drops.
of that.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Um, but now I'm just like, wow, I haven't seen Twister since I was probably like, I don't know, 3 years old or something.
Mhm.
And maybe a little older than that, but I was like, damn, I kind of want to rewatch this.
Was Sharknado a parody of Twisters?
Twister. I think
Twister, yeah.
Sharknado was just like, I mean, I guess, but I don't think it was like a full on parody of it. Whereas like Twister is like about a group of people who are like, they're like storm chasers. So they're like
Okay.
going out to like try to find the great storms and shit.
Yep.
Sharknado, I think, was just like, oh my god, there's sharks flying around
Mhm.
outside.
Mhm.
But maybe there was a couple. I'm sure there was probably a couple moments that were maybe, winks at or whatever.
For sure. I need to watch Twister.
Yeah, it's cool. I like I said, I think I might throw that bitch on tonight.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then I have one more thing. It's not news, but it's a message from our great friend Roop.
Oh, I
Rope.
spoke to him the other day actually.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, he DM'd me. Well, I'll see what to hear what he says, and then I'll
Mhm.
I'll 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 continue on if it's not what
Okay.
you know.
So he was of course, in our Green Knight episode, great friend of the pod. And he was on vacation. He came back and he watched the celebration.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Yes.
Okay, he's a big fan of the director. He hasn't seen this one yet, but he found it, he watched it, he loved it.
Hmm.
And that's why I just wanted to tell you, like, we got someone to watch it and he liked it a lot.
Hell yeah, yeah. He messaged me. He's like, He said he was listening to the pod, and then he
Hmm.
paused it like right before we got to our discussion, and immediately put on Festive, the celebration, and he's like, man, this movie was unbelievable. He's like, and it's cool because he's like, if you didn't know it was Vinterberg, you would think it was just some Lars von Trier,
Hmm.
like him and his usual fuckery.
Yep.
But I'm super glad that he watched it, and everyone should go see that movie. It's unsettling, especially for those who need their Succession fix. It'll give it to you very
Mm.
slightly, as I said.
Hell yeah.
That's super cool.
But there was one more thing. Did you talk to anything else? Like, was there a discussion about, because he then messaged me and then talked about your recent obsession with documentaries.
No, I don't think I have talked to him about that. It was
Okay.
just about Festin.
Because then this wouldn't be as crazy, because I thought maybe he told you about this, but he then, like I said, talked about your recent obsession, and then he told me what his favorite documentary film of all time was.
What is it?
You should watch it.
What is it?
And it's called Dear Zachary.
Dude, dude,
Yeah,
I watched it yesterday.
that's the crazy thing. Like I said, this is the most coincidental podcast. He told me about it. I told him, like, I'm gonna tell him when we record tomorrow. I go to Letterboxd a few hours later and saw you watched it. The exact same day, a couple hours later. I'm not shitting.
That's crazy. That's
Yep.
insane.
Yep.
Um, you should
So
definitely watch it. That's like you said, there's no podcast out there with more coincidences than literally me. This
mhm.
happens week after week.
But
That's
because you talked to him, I thought maybe he told you and that's why you watched it.
no, no, not at all. We only talked about the celebration, and that was it. Um,
Crazy.
that's insane. But Dear Zachary is a really good documentary, and like really will get a very intense physical reaction out of you.
Yeah. He told me
Yeah,
to watch it,
yeah.
and I definitely will if I find it.
Highly recommend. Over here, where did I watch that on? I think I watched it,
Prime
but I
Video.
guess it's not the same. Yeah, Prime.
Mhm.
But I don't know
I
if
don't
it's the
think
same
it's on
nation
Prime.
or worldwide for Prime.
Mhm.
Probably not.
I'll find it somehow. I'll definitely watch it.
Oh yeah. Well, what have you been watching over the last week or so?
Mhm. Let me look it up. Well, I did. I rewatched the rest of the Indiana Jones films, and then I watched Dial of Destiny.
Yeah. So tell me about it.
Well, I'm glad we're recording this a couple, I think, over a week after I watched it.
Let the feelings digest a bit.
Yep, yep, because I was very sad, unfortunately.
Yeah, and still.
I mean, it's not as bad. It's not a bad film. Absolutely not. It's totally watchable. It has a lot of cool moments. It just never captured that Indiana Jones
Spirit.
adventure feeling.
Yeah.
And that's sad because it just felt like one chase scene after the next chase scene from one location to the next. There just wasn't enough of that childlike adventure that I love
Yeah.
from the Indiana Jones films.
And do you still get that when you watch the original three?
100%.
Okay.
I rewatched them beforehand and there's just so much fun. I have so much fun with them. And you can really feel, listen, I'm not saying Spielberg is the only one who can touch Indiana Jones. I'm more than like happy if other people try and put their own spin to it,
Yeah.
but you can just feel the lack of that Spielberg
Yeah.
feeling,
Yeah.
which I think with Indiana Jones, it's just missing. You need that fun and that adventure. This was it was a good action film, but it wasn't Indiana Jones for me
Right. And
personally.
especially for someone who's so connected to it, that can be
Yeah.
quite the letdown.
Yep. I mean, Harrison Ford killed it. Mads Mikkelsen is fantastic as the villain. The opening act feels very Indiana Jones, but the rest, not that much.
Damn.
But not a bad film. It's just okay, which is kind of more heartbreaking to me.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
yeah, where it's just like, oh, there is potential here that was just not met,
yep,
essentially.
yep. Hmm.
That's a
But
shame.
hey,
Well, anything that made you happy that you saw over the last couple weeks or week?
well, I watched Asteroid City last night.
And your thoughts?
It was good. It was yeah, it was a lot of fun. Not my favorite Wes Anderson, but it's a lot of fun. It's very pretty. I love the setting of
Yeah.
it, and it's yeah, I liked it.
Where would you rank it in the Wes Anderson canon of films at this point? Kind of middle tier, it seems from your reaction.
Probably upper middle. There's still a
Okay.
couple like more like Bottle
But
Rocket, and
between what movies do you think you would put it in?
I think well, Bottle Rocket, Moonrise Kingdom, and the Grand Budapest Hotel are like my first three. Not
Hmm.
sure about I think
The
Moonrise Kingdom
rest,
is
yeah.
number one, but I'm not sure how I'd rank them. But I
Yeah.
think Asteroid City would be the fourth place.
Oh, that's not bad at
Yeah.
all.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Damn.
Hmm.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good to me. That's
Hmm.
pretty good to be ranked number four. He has what, like 10 or 11 movies now? Something like
Yeah, I
that.
think so. And I've seen all of them.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
yeah.
pretty good. If you've seen all of them and it's better than more than half of them,
That's true. I mean, I know my reaction wasn't like, oh, but I'm still processing it and it
that's
was a lot
true.
of fun. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting into there and seeing that as well. Hopefully this week.
You're watching that soon. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I watched Super Dark Times, which was interesting. I don't know if you've
I
heard
yeah,
about
I saw you put that on Letterbox. I'm
it.
familiar with the movie, but I've never seen it. And just recently I was listening to a pod where someone brought it up, and so it kind of
Mhm.
came back on my radar.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's visually great and it's a very interesting story. So yeah,
Is it
I
kind
do
of
recommend.
twisty? Like, are there a lot of twists in what, or is there a twist in it?
There is a twist, but it's very you should check it out. I don't want to
Okay, yeah, yeah,
reveal
yeah.
too
I'll go in
much.
blind.
It's best to go in blind because I thought it was just gonna be like a Stranger Things-esque film,
Yeah,
but it's different and it's very dark.
damn.
So yeah.
Okay, super
Mhm.
dark. I'm into that.
Definitely check it out. But what have you been watching?
Yeah, so I've been continuing on with a whole lot of documentaries, and I've seen
Mhm.
some pretty fantastic ones. I'm trying to remember where I left off last time, but I recently saw one that is so a part of like just pop culture, but I never saw it, and
Mhm.
that was the documentary Catfish,
I've heard about
which
that.
the MTV show was obviously very popular, and I saw that when I was younger, and it was out, and but I never actually saw the original documentary that got them the show.
Mhm.
And it is really, really good.
Mhm.
Whereas the show feels like it essentially feels really scripted and it's just like
Yep.
exploitative. Like it feels fake and trashy and it's nonsense. But the movie is actually really, really good. And you are in it. Like it's not like a retrospective thing. It is like this dude begins a relationship with this girl that he meets on Facebook because he's a
Mhm.
photographer, and her like little sister like drew a painting of one of his photos and sent it to him. So he begins
Mhm.
a relationship with like the older sister and his brother, and that's Neve, the dude who's like the host of Catfish, and his
Mhm.
brother and his brother's friend are like filmmakers, and they decide to just film a little documentary on him starting a relationship with someone over the internet, just
Mhm.
that. And then obviously it gets a little more weird and things aren't adding up, and they go on this adventure, and it's really, really good. Honestly, I
Mhm.
was very much taken aback and really enjoyed it.
Have you seen that story? There's also like a Netflix documentary about it, like a miniseries about that football player that was catfish and he had a whole relationship with this
Manti
girl.
Teo, yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't seen the doc, but I remember it vividly when it was like happening out here. And
Then
everyone
she
was
like
also,
died
uh,
on the same day his grandma died or something.
yeah, it was really weird. And but like upon further reading, you really see like the dude really was duped. Like he legitimately thought he was talking to an
Yep.
actual woman. But
Mm.
I remember at the time, everyone thought he made her up because it
Yep.
was still a new thing, like catfishing back then.
Mhm.
And everyone's like, "Oh, he made this up. Like he made it up." And then it came out, it's like, no, like he was like fooled. Like he fell victim to the same exact thing, and it's really sad. I should check out the documentary.
You should. It's only on
It's a Netflix
3
thing.
episodes. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'd be curious to hear some of the, because I think they interview the person who did it, who
they
catfished
did.
him. Okay,
Yep. And
yeah,
it's crazy. There's a lot
I'm
of
gonna check that out.
twists. Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna check that
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
out. But yeah, I remember when that came out, same kind of thing, but very good. I highly recommend. I don't know if you've seen the show Catfish or not, but I
I've seen
definitely
it, yeah.
recommend the pod. Yeah, it's like a non-trashy version of the show.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll check it
it's super cool. And then another thing that I saw that I really enjoyed, um, is a movie called Punishment Park. Have you ever heard of
out.
this
Mhm.
movie?
I have not.
It came out in 1971, and it is a fictional documentary
Mhm.
where it's pretty much a group. Well, it takes place in like, I think it's in like Arizona or like somewhere like desert kind of California.
Mhm.
But there are all these like prisoners, who they're prisoners because they're part of like an anti-war group, and Nixon has like declared like a state of emergency, and essentially these prisoners are given the option to either go to jail,
Mhm.
like for a long time, or they can stay alive, and they'll have 3 days where they'll be hunted in this place called Punishment Park, and they're given like a day head start,
Mhm.
or like maybe like half a day or a few hours, and these people come on trucks, and they're like, okay, halfway through you'll have water. All you have to do
Mhm.
is just make it the 3 miles to the U.S. flag, and then they intercut like all the interviews with them too, and it's really a interesting movie and very intense as well.
Mhm. That sounds insane. I need to
It's
check that out.
it's really cool and really good, and it's definitely a very political thing, and in the wake of like Vietnam and stuff, and that's kind of
Mhm.
what they're really kind of getting at and protesting there. But
Mhm.
it is like so gritty, and yeah, I highly recommend this movie, and it's on YouTube for free. The quality is not fantastic, but it's not
Mhm.
awful either. It's definitely watchable.
I'll check it out. When did this come out?
1971.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and it's just, I don't, it just feels so real. Like it really does feel so real. Um and I've been having a good time kind of getting into sort of these like fictional sort of documentaries as well. And then just one last one that I'll mention that I saw, is this other documentary, which if you're ready for this name, it's quite crazy. It's
Mhm.
Symbiocytotaxoplasm, Take One. Have you ever heard of this movie?
I have not, but that title is insane.
Yeah, it's a Criterion film,
Mhm.
and it's a there's a camera crew at the park. I'm pretty sure it's Central Park,
Mhm.
and they're filming film like a regular movie,
Mhm.
and then that film crew that's filming the movie has a film crew that's filming them filming the movie. And then
Mhm.
there's a film crew filming the film crew that's filming them film the movie. So there's three sets of cameras, and it's viewed from all these separate point of views.
Mhm.
And it's a also kind of documentary slash fictional documentary. Um,
Mhm.
because the movie is not real that they're making, but it in turn becomes a real documentary because of that third camera just showing them make this film.
That's
Um,
interesting.
it's really good and really interesting, and a great look at filmmaking for anyone who's interested in getting an inside look at kind of filmmaking, especially like independent run and gun filmmaking. This is the one to check out for sure.
So is the film they're making, quote unquote, that does that have the title, or how does that title?
The title doesn't No, the title of the movie they're filming is like Over the Cliff,
Mhm.
and I couldn't even tell you because I didn't do any research into what symbiocytotaxoplasm actually means.
Mhm.
But they ended up doing like a sequel many years later called Symbiotoxoplasm Take 2.5, um,
Okay,
which I think they all reunite maybe 30 years later at the park, like all the crew members and actors. Yeah.
you gonna watch that one as well, or?
I'd be interested in checking it out.
Mhm.
It's not held in as high regard as this one. This one's like
Okay.
very widely respected, but highly recommend checking this out, Dino, and for anyone listening. This is a really a great watch.
I'll check all of these out. All sound great.
Yeah, it's super cool. Well, hey, you ready to get into some old Black Dynamite talk?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's ride.
Okay, and now we're gonna talk about this week's film, which is Black Dynamite. Came out in 2009, directed by Scott Sanders. And this is a very funny movie, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
It's
And you saw it for
hilarious.
the first time. What
Yes.
did you think?
I thought it was so funny and so
Mhm.
cool, and obviously loved that the entire thing was shot on 16 millimeter. Like it looks
Yep.
incredible.
Yep.
Um, yeah, incredible movie. I can't believe I hadn't seen it until now. Honestly, shame on
This was
me.
my second time watching it. I saw it not even that long ago. I think a year and a half ago, maybe.
Uh-huh.
The first time I've seen it. And I was so shocked to hear you have never watched it because it's so right up your alley. And I love how
Yeah.
self-aware this film is.
Oh yeah. How did you come across it for the first time? Was it you just heard the name a bunch? You saw it? Were you streaming or what?
I, s- I mean, I've heard of the name, but I didn't know what this film was about. And then I saw it on Netflix, and I was like, I'm just gonna check it out,
Yeah.
not knowing that it's so hilarious and like so self-aware and so. I mean, the jokes are something else. I've never before like seen that in a film.
Yeah. And it's so quick too. Like it's just
Hmm.
so fast and constantly from all
Yep.
angles.
You miss a lot, and I noticed that when I watch it again, there's so many jokes I didn't pick up on.
I feel like it's one of those movies that like you said, kind of just on multiple viewings just
Mhm.
gets better and better and better.
Yep. Did you have any favorite moments? Because I think that's the best way to talk about because there's so many funny and iconic
No,
lines and moments.
so many. I'm literally as you're speaking, I'm literally typing in new notes because I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about that moment. But
Hmm.
my absolute favorite, which was just this very small moment, it was, and I forget who the dude was. It wasn't Black Dynamite. It was one of the guys that he was like chasing, and he keeps
Hmm.
looking back like while he's driving. And there's
Hmm.
one time where he's looking back for a long time, and you see the green screen of a road is just a completely winding road, like on the side of a cliff, and
Yeah.
he's just perfectly like navigating it without even looking. It is
Hmm.
so funny.
Yep.
It is so funny. I busted out laughing seeing
Mhm.
that.
And then he
Um,
drives off the cliff and just
yeah,
his car explodes midair for some
explodes.
reason.
That whole sequence is so funny.
Mhm. Did
Um,
you notice they reused that exact same scene when they dropped, like, there was this scene with the helicopter and the magnet, and they
yeah.
dropped the car, and it's this exact same scene with the car
No,
exploding.
I didn't catch that.
They reused that, and it's so funny.
Oh, that's hilarious. I did not catch that. I also love the like earlier in the beginning when he like walks in and there's like three girls in his bed and one girl's like, "Oh, I missed you," or whatever. He's like, "Shh, you'll wake up the other bitches." And there's just
There's
like
more in
another
the bed.
girl like on the edge of the bed.
Mhm. So
That's
funny.
so funny.
There's one scene where he's sitting on a desk and he stands up, and you see the mic, like,
Yes.
yep,
Yes. And it
that was.
stays there the whole time. And I love that
He
he
looks
like
up.
even notices it too. It's in that moment, like that scene does something really kind of crazy with the movie too. Like
Mhm.
because at that point it's like it gives it a whole new layer because then you become aware that he's making a movie.
Yep.
And then I start thinking, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, what is this actual guy like? And it's
Mhm.
this character, but I don't know. That was super cool. It added like a whole new
Yep.
dimension to it that I wasn't expecting.
To like breaking the fourth wall a little bit.
Exactly. Making it very meta and like you said, very self-aware.
Mhm. That was one of my favorites. And there's one more where he's with like that old woman, and he tries to like say his catchphrase, and then this girl finishes it for him, and he just snaps.
Yeah,
And, like,
is that when
he's
he's
like,
like, "Euphoria, shut the fuck up, send your
"Yep,
ass back to Crenshaw." Yeah,
I don't even get a look. I know it's you," and she just
yeah.
like cries. So funny. That is one of my favorite scenes because it's just like out of nowhere, he just snaps at her.
Snaps.
Hmm.
It's yeah, dude, that movie, and there was like a lot of really cool like technical stuff in it too.
Hmm.
Like one that was really hokey but still like came out pretty cool is when he's fighting like he's like doing his like kung fu training,
Hmm.
and like the one dude like the camera's like focused on the one guy he's fighting, and he'll look this way and then he'll turn around and Black Dynamite will be there, but then
Yep.
you can obviously see Black Dynamite's shadow like running to
Hmm.
the other side.
Yep.
Where it's like the idea is still super cool, even if it's like done in a very funny kind of hokey way.
Yep. There's also one more moment where the other guy, like his friend, is fighting someone, and he accidentally slaps him. He's
Oh
like turned
yeah,
around like motherfucker, and then
yeah,
it just cuts to a new actor
a
playing him
completely
because
new guy.
yep, like implying there was some sort of behind the scenes drama, maybe he quit or something.
Yes,
That
that
also
shit
gives
was
it that
so funny,
yep, like you
so
mentioned, like
funny.
this new element of oh they're making this film.
Exactly. That it's like you are watching people make a movie as opposed to just watching a movie.
Mhm. Yep,
Um, I thought that was super cool. Has this guy Scott? What's the director's name? Scott
Scott
Sanders.
Sanders.
Has he done anything else that we know of?
Not really. I mean, he made two other films. I mean, look, there's one called Thick as Thieves, came out in 1999, starring Alec Baldwin, and
Hmm.
Michael J. White is also in it.
No shit. Okay.
But I've
Two
never heard
master
of
thieves go at odds with one another as one sets the other up for a crime. Hmm.
it. And there's one more called Aztec Warrior, starring Terry Crews.
And Luis Guz. I just pulled that one up. How insane is that poster?
Yep, it's crazy.
What
And
year
it's
did that one
such
come out? Does it even
low
say?
quality as well.
Yeah, it doesn't even say what year that one comes out or
Nope.
came out.
Interesting. But yeah, he really didn't make anything else, which
Huh.
is weird. I mean, he's very talented and this film is so incredible.
Yeah. Have you I did some research and I'm sure you probably have too on kind of the creation of this movie. Did you read anything about how it was
I
made,
haven't.
or this is kind of like an idea birthed from the mind of Michael J. White.
Hmm.
Um, and this is a character that he, I believe, created himself.
Interesting.
And I guess the outfit, like that blue outfit he wears, like at the end,
Hmm.
is the original outfit that like he bought himself and like put together and created this character with.
Hmm.
And he hits up Scott Sanders, and they go out with a Super 8 camera,
Hmm.
and for like $500, they go out and make a Black Dynamite trailer, and they take the trailer out. I don't know if they did festivals or they just kind of sent it around, or like what they did, but
Hmm.
they essentially took the trailer out and sold the trailer in order to get the movie made. And
Interesting.
I thought that that was really cool and really impressive, and you can kind of tell that this is something that Michael J. White, it doesn't seem like it's just like a job that he did.
Hmm.
He seems
Yep.
very much a part of it. And then obviously you see he was a co-writer in the film as well. But yeah, I believe that this was a character that was kind of created
Mhm.
by him. Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
That's really
It
dope.
is saying that he used to like also host like a lot of like black exploitation like watch parties,
Hmm.
and that was also kind of a part of the big influence in it as well, because he would like see like, oh, there's inconsistencies, or like, oh, you can see that boom mic kind of coming down in that scene,
Hmm.
and they would all get a kick out of it, and that's when he's like, we should do something like with this. And
Hmm.
yeah,
That's awesome. I wish they would make another one.
I think that'd
I
be
think,
super cool. Yeah.
yep.
Or
Especially
especially
since, mhm.
like a in way in the future. I mean, it's been almost 15 years since this came
Yep.
out, which is crazy.
Yep.
14 next year will be 15.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Crazy. But I feel like if this, I mean, I'm not sure how popular this film is, because I don't see a lot of people talking about it. I know it's like a lot of people have seen clips from it and it's very
Yeah,
funny. I'm not sure how many people like actually have
I
seen the full movie and loved it.
I think it's a true kind of cult classic,
Yeah,
and think it will be probably like in the long run it'll gain popularity, but I think it'll always be looked at because it didn't make any money.
really.
Really, like they had a budget for 2.9,
Hmm.
and the box office was under $300,000.
Oh.
Um, and I mean, they made money,
Hmm.
um, because for distribution they got like $2 million or something in their deal to
Hmm.
distribute it. So Michael J. White and them, I think, all did fine, but in terms
Okay.
of the distributors and all that, they did not make very
Hmm.
much money on this movie.
But that shouldn't hold them back because like I
No,
said, I
not
think
at
there's
all.
a lot more people finding it now, finding appreciation for it, and I think there's an audience for a
One
second one.
100%. And I are you this is something that I caught in the film as well. Are you a
Hmm.
fan of Earl Sweatshirt, the
I
hip hop
am.
artist?
Yep.
I noticed a part when they cut to the guy Cream Corn,
Hmm.
and he's in the salon.
Yep.
There is a line that he says that like it hit me in a weird way, where it cuts to him. He's like, "Yep, yep." He's like, "I'm running things," and then he sings. He's like, "I'm running things," and I was
Hmm.
like, "That sounds really familiar." I was like, "What is?" I was like, "Is that a meme?" And then I was like, "Wait, no, that's from a song." And there's a song by Earl Sweatshirt called "The Mint," and in the very beginning, that line is sampled. It's like, "Yeah, I'm running things," and he's singing. He's like,
Holy,
"I'm running things," and then the
holy
song
shit.
comes in. Yeah,
Yeah.
give it a
That's
listen again, after we
I
get
need
off the
to.
pod, and
I
you'll hear
need
it.
to.
And I was like, wait, I was like, this isn't a song. I was like, what song? And I literally paused the movie. I was like, what is this from? And I was kind of like in my head, when you kind of will let the rest of it play out.
Hmm.
I was like, no, no,
Yep.
no. And I was like, oh my
Then
God,
you
Earl
figured
Sweatshirt, holy shit. And then I
it.
Googled it. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
He needs to promote this film and make a sequel happen. And he needs to
Yeah, he's
star
gonna
in
do
it. He needs to
something.
get Vince Staples in there. He needs to get Tyler the Creator, all of them. Get all of them. Get the whole
100%.
what
Yeah.
do they call like
But
Loiter Squad? Him and
Loiter Squad was their show, and Odd Future is like the whole clique. Yeah.
yep. They should get them in there. And Vince Staple as well. I think he would fit in
That'd
there.
be that'd be super funny. But yeah, go listen to that again, and folks, go listen to the song as well after you see the movie. It's very funny.
Yep. There's also what I did this one running joke in the film where the singer always sings what is happening. It's very on the nose, not subtle at all. When he's like at the funeral of his little brother, like the guy sings, "I just lost my little brother,"
Yeah.
something like that was so funny.
Literally every time that he's singing, it's just describing the
Yeah,
scene.
exactly.
Yeah.
Such a funny joke.
It's so good. This movie really was just, yeah, man, this was super funny, man. I really had a really good time with this movie.
Hmm.
Um, and Michael J. White, this was post Dark Knight. I was kind of looking through his filmography and I was like, damn, I forget that he was in like so much like super dope shit. Both
Who did he
before and
play
after.
in
But
Dark Knight?
who did he play?
Hmm.
He was the dude that the Joker sends, I'm pretty sure, the pencil through his head. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
him, but he's leading the meeting of
in
that.
that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. What else has he done? Because I'm not very familiar with him outside of
Yeah,
the.
so the TV was mainly his thing. I remember he was in a Tyler Perry show,
Hmm.
called or no, in a Tyler Perry movie called Why Did I Get Married? And I remember
Hmm.
just seeing that on like TBS, like a channel here, like as a kid, a lot, and watching it, and that's how I became familiar with him. And then when I saw him in Dark Knight, I was like, oh, that's that Tyler Perry guy. And then I
Hmm.
was like, oh no, he's just like an actual dope like dude who is which by the way, like all of like the fighting in this is him as well, which is fucking crazy.
Interesting. So he did
In
not
Black
fit
in Black
himself.
Dynamite. Yeah. That's
Hmm.
yeah, I'm looking now. He has 7 black belts in various types of karate, taekwondo, um, Like the dude can fight for real.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's awesome. He was also on Spawn.
What
Oh,
I never
he
saw
played,
Spawn.
he played Spawn.
Yeah, I never saw it. It's he's a
Same.
superhero, right? Spawn?
He is, but I've never read any of the comic books. I've never seen. I think there's multiple movies, or is there just one?
I have no idea. Is Spawn like a Marvel property or
I
DC, or is
think
it it's a
he's.
different thing?
Yeah, I think it's just. I'm not sure what
Oh,
company.
Image Comics. Not sure what
Oh,
that
it's from
is, but
Image. Okay,
yeah.
that's started as like an indie company
It
made.
says yeah, it says they're the third largest comic book direct market. I'm
Mhm.
assuming they're behind Marvel and DC, respectively.
I think it started with a couple of writers from Marvel and DC
Oh,
like,
cool.
stepping away from Marvel and DC and making their own publishing brand, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool. Yeah, no, he was in there, and I think that was the only movie, and then there was an HBO animated series.
Hmm.
But I guess they're doing an upcoming reboot with Jamie Foxx and Jeremy Renner.
I've heard about that. Yeah, the creator, I think it's called Seth MacFarlane. It's not Seth MacFarlane. Who's
McFarlane, well, it's McFarlane Toys, Todd McFarlane.
Todd MacFarlane? Not Seth. Seth's the
Yeah,
Family
Family
Guy.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but he made him and he sells toys and things like that. So he's very much behind the process of making this new film. So
Yeah, I know that you said you hadn't seen it or really read it, but are you familiar with Spawn at all as a superhero?
not really. I mean, I've seen comic panels from it. I've seen art, but I've never read anything. I don't know anything about him, about the story. Nothing really.
Yeah, I it looks super cool. Like I'm just kind of doing some
Mhm.
research now because I've never heard of this.
Mhm.
Um, is he a superhero or super villain?
I think he's
Superhero
an
slash
anti-hero.
anti-hero. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
probably kills people, but like for a good cause.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, this looks really neat. I'm trying to see because it keeps saying it's like, oh, he's this movie's well known for him being the first like black
Superhero.
superhero portrayed on film, but or to feature an African American actor portraying a major comic book superhero. But he is a
Mm.
black character like in the comics as well. That's what I was looking to see.
Okay, interesting.
Hmm.
I
Well,
need to
that's
check
super
that out.
cool. Yeah, I'm gonna add that to the watch list right now on
Mhm.
Letterboxd. I'm curious to know what the rating is on there as well. But yeah, this looks
Not
pretty
very
neat.
good.
It's not very good.
I think it's like 2.2, 2.3, something like that.
Fuck it.
But I'll
I'll still
I'll give
check
it a
that shit
shot.
out. Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
It's like I kind of like superhero movies that are like sort of off the beaten path. Like those
Hmm.
I'll check out. Like I think I talked about it once on the pod. I don't remember if you said you'd seen it. Darkman, the Sam Raimi film.
I haven't, but we talked about it.
Yeah, which I think that
Yep.
might be completely original character he made, or
Mhm.
is that a comic book too?
I'm not familiar with it, so it might be an original character.
Okay. But like something like that where I'm like, this is
Mhm.
super cool, or like even like Blade, which is
Yeah.
Marvel, but is not like the main. At least I don't see Blade as being like a super like a Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, like that
Mhm.
level.
Yeah.
Or like Ghost Rider, like I would love to see Ghost like movies like this that are done cool. So I'll check out Spawn for sure.
Hell yeah, me too. It looks cool.
But yeah,
Badass.
shout out to Michael J. White for being a badass and for being a great
Hell
fighter.
yeah. He seems really cool, like, especially with him having this idea, putting together the costume, and then just going out shooting this.
He's funny, he's badass. He's got it all for sure.
Hell yeah. We should get him to make a next one. We need the sequel.
I know. I wonder where they could take it from there.
Mhm.
But I guess like
That'd
with
be
so many
interesting.
black exploitation films, you're really kind of using and recycling a lot of different different actors and characters. Are you familiar with any black exploitation films? Like any of the movies that kind of they were parodying in this?
I don't think so. I mean, I've seen a couple, but I think it's probably referencing more of the older ones.
Yeah, like kind of
What
like
are
what I
some
mean like
popular ones?
from yeah, so from like the 70s is really like even this is like black exploitation, but it's also
Mhm.
more so just like an homage to it. Whereas I feel like the true era was from like the late 60s into like the 70s. particularly the 70s. But the big ones are going to be like Superfly, which they made a remake of
Hmm.
maybe 5 to 10 years ago, somewhere in between there.
Hmm.
Another one is going to be Shaft, which they've done a fair share of remakes with, and I think
Yep.
Samuel L. Jackson is like the modern
Yep.
Shaft.
I think so.
Um, and yeah, they've done a lot of sequels for Shaft too, but the original is fucking dope. Across
Hmm.
110th Street, a lot of people look at Jackie Brown, the Tarantino movie, as a blaxploitation, um, but it's essentially just playing on Foxy Brown and Cleopatra
Hmm.
Jones and some of these Pam Grier movies. Um, but yeah, there's a ton of these really good movies. Cotton Comes to Harlem is another funny and
Hmm.
also badass one that comes to mind.
I need to watch more of them because I haven't seen a lot. I haven't even watched Jackie Brown. It's one of
Oh,
the
really?
Tarantino films I haven't seen yet.
Oh, dude, that's literally one of the best Tarantino movies. That shit is so
Really?
good. Yeah. That movie is incredible. I think,
Hmm.
well, honestly, I think for the most part, people don't really give it that much cred. I think now they do. I think now there's more of a
Yeah.
renaissance behind it.
Yep.
But at the time and over the last maybe 10 years, I don't think it was really held in that high of regard. I think if you ask most of the people, like I guarantee you on your page, if you put up like a poll of people to rank the Tarantino movies, I'd be willing
Hmm.
to bet majority of people would put it probably bottom one or two. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Might be.
I bet you the bottom three would contain Death Proof and Jackie Brown would be in there as well. I think.
And those are the two I have not seen yet. I've seen all these other ones,
Because
but not.
they're not the well-known ones. And
Hmm.
I think we talked about it before too, where we looked up, or maybe I looked up and I brought it up, the Wes Anderson rankings. How just by default everyone puts Bottle Rocket as dead last because they either haven't seen it or it's not like, oh my god, it's not like Grand Budapest or like any of
Yep.
these Isle of Dogs, but it's like
Hmm.
this is like one of the best things he ever fucking made. But these people just
Yep.
haven't seen it, so they just put it at the bottom. Jackie
Hmm.
Brown is one of those, I think, for Tarantino.
Hmm. Is it the same? Because with Wes Anderson and Bottle Rocket, he didn't have that certain style yet, and I think that's why a lot of people don't like it because they go
That's
back.
yeah. So Jackie Brown has style. Tarantino had the style from the get go. I think.
So the
Um,
same one he had with Pulp Fiction and his other ones.
exact same, only better. Like, and
Hmm.
it's pure Tarantino where every movie is essentially just a rip of a different movie, but he
Hmm.
just then adds so much shit. This is the
Yep.
one where it's not so much singled in on one movie that he's kind of ripping like some of all
Hmm.
the others. Oh, and Pulp Fiction really isn't one movie.
Yep.
But this one is just like a whole like composite of so many blaxploitation and like
Hmm.
70s movies. Like it really gets in there.
Hmm.
And it's the only movie that is based on like a novel.
Hmm.
It's based on an Elmore Leonard novel, I believe.
Hmm. I know Tarantino loves black exploitation films, so
I highly recommend Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown is in my top probably three Tarantino movies, I would say.
interesting. I'll check it out for sure. I need to finish his filmography, especially with his last film coming soon-ish.
Ish, yeah. Highly recommend that movie. But yeah, I don't think most people have seen Jackie Brown. But yeah, those are some of the real kind of good black exploitation, both from like the classic era and
Mhm.
from more modern,
Hell yeah. But back to Black Dynamite.
Yeah.
What do you think his I'm not sure if you would really watch films like his character, but if we
Yeah.
had to make it top four, do you have something in mind?
Yeah, so I mean, Superfly really was like a main one
Hmm.
that came to mind when I was watching because
Hmm.
it's almost the most I mean, it's still like a very serious movie, but it's still very over the top and bombastic. So I feel like Superfly would be a movie that you would for sure be checking out and being like, yeah, this is pretty sweet. Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna be like that.
Hmm.
Um, and then also I think another one is Sweetback's Badass Song. If
Never
you
heard that.
never okay,
No.
this is like one of the early black exploitation movies,
Hmm.
and has been parodied and homage to countless amount of times in various films over the years. And it was directed by Melvin Van Peebles, and his son is a director now, Mario Van Peebles.
Hmm.
And his son actually made a movie about the making of Sweet Sweetback, which is also very meta because Mario is in it as a young boy playing his father as a child.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's another one where it's very over the top, and there's literally a scene of Mario Van Peebles as a child having sex with a grown ass woman, like they're showing it in Sweet Sweetback, and that's some shit I could see Black Dynamite being like, yeah, yeah, just being
Yep.
super into. So yeah,
Yep.
those are my two, I think, at least
Okay.
for movies I think Michael J or Black Dynamite would like.
Hmm. Damn. I mean, going with Tarantino, I think he would either absolutely love Django Unchained or absolutely hate it. I think could go either way. I think he might like it and he might look up who Tarantino is and then he's like, oh, I don't like this anymore. But
I feel like he would like it secretly. He'd be like, man, that's really dope, but I don't want to publicly say that I love that.
yeah, that's one. But I'm not sure about another one. You might have to help me with this one because
Yeah, I think, hmm. I'm trying to think about really. There's a movie called Cotton, which I mentioned earlier. Cotton Comes to Harlem. That
hmm
is like a laugh out loud riot. Like the movie is so funny.
hmm
Um, and it's from that era. Let me. I don't want to fuck up the year. But it's from that same main era. Um, I want to say it was 1974 when it came out. But
hmm
it's very funny and over the top, and it's a must see as well. It came out in 1970.
Okay.
But highly recommend, and definitely should be added to the watch list for must see
Mhm.
blaxploitation movies.
Hell yeah. Then we have his top four.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And then there's
Oh,
one more thing to do, which might be a
yes.
little hard with this one, but on a scale from 1 to 10,
1 to 10 fake Afro wigs.
that's a good one. What was that? That ale, the thing they were drinking to make their dick small. What was that?
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that. Oh my God, what was that called?
Malt?
Oh,
Is it
oh my
malt?
God. It was that malt liquor, but what was the name of the
Wasn't it like Anaconda or Cobra malt liquor?
it was Anaconda brand malt liquor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um yeah. It's formulated to give you a little dick.
Yep.
On a scale of 1 to 10 bottles of Anaconda malt liquor. Um I mean, I think I'm a solid zero, but in terms of I guess we have to think of it not if we are them, but if we can relate in some sort of
Yep.
way.
Yep.
And I think I'll give it like a five or a
Five.
six. Yeah,
Hmm.
because he is someone that I kind of like. Yeah, he's super funny, and I can get down with this, and he's got a
hmm
good sense of humor, and he's self aware.
That's true. Sadly, not as badass as him. So
Yeah,
that's why I can't give it a high one. So
yeah,
probably like a two.
yeah,
Maybe like the humor, that's an aspect, but
yeah.
yeah.
And I like the self awareness that he has, and but yeah, I
hmm
can't really relate at all to old
Yep.
Black Dynamite there whatsoever.
Yep.
Well, but I guess it's about that time then
hmm
for the picking of the next episode, the next film. For those who are unfamiliar or need a refreshing, every week at the end of our discussion, we go through each of our lists that we have provided, and we randomly pick with a random number generator, 1 to 20, and see what movie we're gonna watch. Last week, Black Dynamite was from Dino's list. This
Yep.
week, we will be picking one from mine. So I
Have the
guess
list
I'll
ready.
pull up the random number generator, and then you tell me which one
hmm
on the list it is. So
Yep.
let me pull it up. 1 to 20. All right, you got it up. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Give me number 15 on there, please.
Number 15 is The Heartbreak Kid, 1972.
Oh, fuck yeah. This movie is super funny.
I've
Super
never heard of
funny.
it.
Oh, really? they made a remake in like the early 2000s with Ben Stiller. It was directed by the Farrelly brothers, I think. Um, but they did do a remake in like the early to mid 2000s, which is just pure shit. But the original is so funny, and it's on YouTube. Again, print
Okay.
quality not fantastic, but it is watchable, and it is on
Mhm.
YouTube to watch for free. Anybody can go on YouTube worldwide and go watch it for free.
It looks interesting.
It's very funny. It is
Mhm.
very, very funny. It has Charles Grodin and it has Sybil Shepherd, arguably at her most attractive.
Mhm.
And it's directed by Elaine May, one of the all-time great comedy directors. Um, and yeah, I guess to give a quick synopsis for anyone
Mhm.
who doesn't know the Heartbreak Kid. It came out in 1972. It stars Charles Grodin. He just got married,
Mhm.
and they go on their honeymoon to Miami. So it is a great Florida movie as well for me. And
Mhm.
he starts to kind of get to know her a little better and finds her to be very unlikable. And he's
Mhm.
just so annoyed by her. So when he goes out to spend some time alone, he meets Sybil Shepherd, who's just unbelievably attractive, and he falls in love with her while on the honeymoon with his
Mhm.
actual new wife. Um, so
Sounds
yeah,
cool.
it's very funny, and like I said, absolutely anybody can see it on
Mhm.
YouTube.
Hell yeah. So once again, no excuse. Watch it and
No
then
excuses
yep.
whatsoever. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, like that. That concludes another episode of literally me. You wanna anything you want to shout out or any final thoughts before we sign off?
Nothing really. I mean, Barbie's coming up soon, so I'm excited
Oppenheimer
for
as
that.
well. Might have
Oppenheimer.
might have something cool in the works for that. Possibly. Stay
Yep.
tuned.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
yeah, man. And I'm off to go see Across the Spider Verse in about an hour and a half. I know the movie came out damn near a month ago, but I finally
Mhm.
was able to wrangle up my two homies who've seen it to seen the first one to go check it out. So I'm super stoked for a matinee over here. I'll be watching it at noon.
Let's
So
go.
just about an hour and a half. I'm gonna get myself a glizzy from the maybe
Mhm.
two glizzies and go to
Mhm.
town. Yeah, have some fun,
Hell
man.
yeah. I'm excited to hear your thoughts and then talk about it next week.
Likewise, man.
Very excited.
All right. Well, thanks for listening again, folks. Black Dynamite. If you listen to this pod and still haven't seen it,
Okay.
go out and see it, and then otherwise go out and see a Heartbreak Kid. And yeah, it's always fun talking to you, Dino. I'll talk to you in a week.
Same. Bye bye.
All right. See you, homie.